after throwing
there's a
personal
possibility.
insult at you.
You don't know if he's gonna listen to me. I don't know if he's gonna listen to me. There's a possibility of him listening to me. There's a possibility of him not listening to me. That doesn't change the fact that I have to try to do it, because I look at it as I need to try.
But why take
You
that?
don't.
But why take that possibility when instead
Because-
you can rather show him? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bro Sling Big Podcast. This is a show where we talk about the simple and yet complicated ideas of self-improvement. Today, we have our God-loving friends. Joel, come on in here, man.
Hey, Joel.
I'm step in the ring for the fight of my life. Hit my knees and I strap on my gloves. It's like I was
And not only do we have Joel, we have Angel. Come on in, man.
White Iverson. When I started balling, I was young. You gon' think about me when I'm gone. I need that money like the ring I never won. I want.
Effective dad can't stop.
Really? Anyways, we actually have a really interesting topic for you guys today. We're going to be talking about religion and relationships. But, so actually I want you to start off kind of with a question.
Yo, I was gonna ask you, is that why you decided to preach about God and, show people more about what you believe in and all that kind of stuff?
Is what? Why is my
Like, knowing that
interaction-
you had to make somebody else feel loved and show kindness through God because you felt it through Angel.
why I post things on my social media?
Yeah.
The reason I post things on my social media is more like informative.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people have a bad
Idea.
a bad idea, a bad taste of what church is, what God is. And what I know, and what I know for a fact, is it's not what a lot of people made it seem like it is.
Yeah.
Because, so long story short, yeah, that's why I post things. Like, recently, my most recent post, I was talking about how just because I have a relationship with God doesn't mean I'm perfect.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring that up is because a lot of traditional churches make it seem like that. Like everybody,
Yeah.
everybody
You have
on
to be
that
perfect.
stage is perfect. Everybody that's preaching you is perfect. A lot of times you'll hear like how are you gonna tell me not to do something when you do it?
Exactly.
And it's like, because it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that I messed up, but everything to do with the fact that this is not good. Like, I would say a good example is growing up, I had siblings who maybe smoked weed or something like that. And I had this disagreement between my parents. Like, one of them would say, "Oh, we did it growing up, how are we going to tell him not to?" And the other one would say, "Because it's not right." And it's like, from my point of view, as a kid watching that, it's like, I understand that you guys did it. So, yes, be a little bit more forgiving about it. But also keep in mind, the only way for that little kid to understand what's right and wrong is for you to tell them regardless.
Yep.
So, that is why I like to post, to inform.
Yeah. And another part you mentioned in that video that I actually hit you up on,
Yeah.
you said you don't get to the shower when you're clean, you get to the shower when you're dirty.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
kind of the idea with like going to church and presenting yourself
Yep.
to God, because you're not, if you're perfect and if you think you're perfect, why are you going to God? I think that's the arrogance that a lot of people hold. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm perfect, I don't need God in my life, I can do whatever I want."
Yeah.
But I feel like that's where they fall into the darkness, and they don't even understand why
Yeah.
they're not perfect, because they see all this evidence behind it, because they can't help themselves. You know what I mean? So the idea of like not being perfect and acknowledging that, and then going to God for that help is like what you meant. So
That's
Yeah.
so
I
well
like
said.
that idea.
That's
Yeah.
so well said.
Yeah.
Was
That
it when you
is-
started eating Pringles that you knew?
Yeah, when I first had that first one off the top,
Yeah.
and I grabbed more than one.
Yeah.
I think we should shove Pringles down Josh's throat after this episode.
I'm gonna talk about those Pringles, man. Sorry.
Angel agrees with me. Yeah.
Why
So
would
we
you
have-
say believing in God is beneficial? Like, in what ways would you say it's beneficial, and how has it helped you? That you could say, oh yeah, this is how it's beneficial.
So before I answer the question, I just want to say, I love the way you brought that question to the table. We were talking about Pringles and it just came in. I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
That transition.
The W transition.
Yeah.
So the question was, what is beneficial about having a relationship
Yeah.
with God? The benefits are, number one, the lessons it teaches. A lot of people think it's rules,
Yeah.
in a sense, but in reality, it's advice, in a sense.
Mhm.
And that advice, the more you follow it, I promise you, the more likely you will be to succeed and enjoy your experience on the planet. And that's just that would be the advantages for somebody who doesn't even believe in God.
Yeah.
But believing in God and praying, I have personally experienced like divine intervention. And that 100% has to do with having a relationship with God. Like, there was this little girl named Lily. And this little girl, this is somebody else's story, so I just want to put that out there first. I think they're okay with me sharing it because they shared it. So there's this little girl, Lily. She has COVID. She has things wrong with her body that the doctors are saying this baby is going to not have a lot of time left. So much so to the point where they told everybody to come say goodbye. They told everybody, come into this room and say your last goodbyes, because this is it. This is the last 30 minutes of her life, was the prediction. And instead of saying goodbye, every single individual who stepped in that room prayed. Everybody said, in Jesus' name, let this baby live on. In Jesus' name, bro, in Jesus' name, let this baby have another day. And every day, every Saturday, this baby still comes to our church.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you think that's a benefit,
No, it definitely
but
is.
I think
Because, dude,
that's a
that's the
benefit.
kind of story that I would tell someone. Like, what is another evidence that you need? Like,
Yeah.
that's a miracle right there.
That exactly. And even in the small things, like, God does so many things that I feel like as human beings we don't even acknowledge. Like, yeah. Like, if you think about it, everything that exists started with him. So you have that benefit. It's like you get to realize where everything came from
And have a relationship with
Have that
God
relationship.
who created all that.
and be able to appreciate it differently. Like there's like leaves, you can barely see them out the window. There's such a small detail in the world, but that small detail exists.
They're
Like,
beautiful.
and they're beautiful.
Leaves in the autumn. Oh my god.
You gotta learn to appreciate the little things.
The little things, and I feel like having a relationship with God like helps me to do that.
Yeah, it definitely brings up your awareness as
Mhm.
far as that goes.
Yeah, I just want to mention something based off the message you just said. I highly recommend everyone in this room and to the audience, to just take a walk every once in a while without a phone and just look at the trees. Honestly, I was just admiring trees. It's so cool.
Nature is
Like,
such a
because,
beautiful
like you
thing.
said, you overlook half the things that are brought into you because
Mhm.
you think this is normal, but nothing is normal. Nothing. You got to realize that
Yeah.
absolutely nothing is normal. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
just appreciate the trees, appreciate the branches. It's kind of cool how some trees are kind of like slanted. I know I'm talking about trees right now in the middle of God, but just appreciate nature and what it
Yeah,
gives.
like flowers, a little shit
Yeah.
like that. The ocean. Something I'm gonna ask is, this is not really an important question, but I just want to know. I thought the whole like generalized idea of church is that you go on Sunday. So how come you guys go on Saturday?
So before I answer this question, I just want to say,
Mhm.
it does not matter what day of the week church.
Exactly.
The reason we go on Saturday, Angel might be able to answer this better than me, but I'll try. Is because Saturday is the 7th day of the week, and God's day is the 7th day.
Yeah, so do you want me to add on to that?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically when, in the beginning, God took each day to create the world, and there was one day that he made to specifically rest, which was the Sabbath day. And that day, we just use it as the last week, because that was technically the last week, which is, in our case, Saturday.
The last day of the week.
But the last day of the week, yeah, because Sunday is the start of a new week.
Yeah.
That sounds respectable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't really know because I'm not really educated on any of that stuff. Really, I just know a lot of the churches, like even the one right near us. I always see the parking lot just full on
Saturday
Sundays. But
or Sunday.
I feel like it's a critical thing to know that it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What day of the church, like just get in there and do your thing.
Yeah.
Show love.
Dude, another argument that I hear from atheists or like non-believers for the most part is like, other than the benefits, they say, why should I personally kneel down to somebody who I don't know or I don't see, I don't feel, I don't sense, that kind of stuff, and limit myself from exploring and doing things that I want to do, and in the Bible it says it's wrong and all that kind of stuff. So like, what is your response to that? Because I did also mention the whole thing with like people being arrogant when they say such things, but like, what is your take on it? Pretty sure you had experience with those kind of people as well.
I could say like, do you see air? Do you taste air?
And they can't answer those
Like-
questions.
like,
Like it's irrelevant.
It's there. Can you see it? No,
Yeah.
but it's there.
I feel
It
like,
still has a purpose, you know.
yeah, that answers half the question. And on the other half, so you're saying like some people might think that there's more benefits to not following God's rules,
Yeah.
in a sense. I feel like part of that is mindset, because when I think about my relationship with God, I don't think about all the rules he has on me, and I don't think he wants us to think that.
Yeah.
I think that he wants us to come as we are. He wants us to come as we are, and the closer we get to him, the more we will want to do the right thing, in a sense.
Yeah.
But I also don't see things like this is wrong and this is right. I see things like this is wise and this is foolish. Like, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Is it I think I'll talk about abortion.
Yeah.
Is it wrong biblically to get an abortion? To kill a baby inside of you, is that right or wrong biblically? It's wrong biblically.
Right.
Now, if you are a 16-year-old who is in the middle of your high school career, has dreams for college, and have a baby inside of your belly, is it wise or foolish to get an abortion?
Why?
I think it's foolish either way. I personally am that type of person to believe in Bible and what it says in the Bible. I mean, I haven't read the whole thing, so I'm not going to be like, I defend it with everything, because I don't even know that much. But what I believe in is that it's the life that is inside a woman, and you're killing it either way. Either
So,
you're older
let me
or
ask you
younger.
this.
So it's like,
So let me ask you this though. So you said it was foolish to get rid of the baby, to get an abortion.
I would answer that. I wouldn't even separate the foolish and the wrong, to be honest. Because wrong can be foolish, foolish can be wrong.
But
It can go back and
let me
forth.
ask. All right.
But I
So then let's
think
go back
it's
to-
right and wrong.
But we can go back to like a biblical example then.
Yeah,
Is it right or wrong to kill somebody?
wrong.
David killed tons.
Okay. So what does that say in the
God
Bible?
helped him. Gideon killed tons, and God helped him. Why? Why?
Okay, but where are you taking this? You're saying if you know that
The
you are
same
killing a
way-
baby,
The same
does
way
that
murder
are
is
you?
wrong
Yeah, I know.
and abortion is wrong.
Yeah.
But God
God
gave
still
these
forget.
people-
Yeah.
No. Not only did he forgive them, but he helped them
Okay.
kill the enemy. Biblically. He helped David. He helped Gideon.
So you're saying people that get abortion, God helps them? How do we know this then?
Put the abortion thing to the side. Why did God help them?
Dude, first of all, I wouldn't be able to answer that with my knowledge that I have now, but all I know is that Bible stories isn't read literally. When you take those stories, you have to look at it from a very different perspective, almost like a fictional story kind of thing, that gives a deeper meaning to then what it is. You know what I mean? So you're telling me the story from an Old Testament. So as long as I know, an Old Testament story is God doing a specific thing with them, but a New Testament is when Jesus came on earth and showed people a whole different way, right?
I mean, I see what
So-
you're saying, but literally, what happened, is before David was even around, God told Moses, these are the rules. Thou shalt not murder.
Yeah.
And then, when David came around, after this fact was already put in history, after that, David killed people. He killed Goliath. Everybody knows
Yeah.
the story of David and Goliath. He killed the giant with God's strength, and he says that.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, why would God let him do that if it was wrong?
Okay, it's same thing as you saying, all right, a person goes out, kills somebody. Why did God let them do that? Do you believe in free will?
No, but
Because that would be the definition of it.
I'm not saying that free will. I'm saying God.
Why would God let them do that? You're saying that.
Right,
You're asking me
right.
that question.
But it's in the Bible that Moses said that he used God's strength.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like a free will situation.
Mhm.
God was on Moses' side. God gave him the authority to take another person's life.
Okay.
So the reason I'm asking you why did he let that happen? If you think back and you look at the spot in history this is going on and the situation that David and his people were in and how they were the only people with God in their
Yeah.
mind, it was wrong to murder.
Yeah.
That is the truth. But it is wise in order to keep his people alive to murder. In other words, the same way it might be wise for a certain person to get an abortion, God also gave David that authority because it was the wise thing to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So that's
But
why
I'll have to
for
think
me,
more about it. Yeah.
for me, in certain situations, when it comes to abortion, it might be wise to do that.
Okay. Now I'm gonna give you another example. Do you know Jordan Peterson? You should definitely listen to him. He's a psychologist. So, and he talks about like religion too. He's got like biblical studies. So he goes literally over like Bible pretty much and does series on them, like 1 hour, 2 hour long, like a lecture. And in one of the lectures, he mentioned something. Before you get to a tough decision, you have to understand what got you to it. So, like, since we're talking about abortion right now, this is going to be very controversial, but like, what did those people do beforehand to get to the position, right, a 16-year-old, to even have a decision to get an abortion? You know what I mean? Like, these are the decisions that people make. So I don't think that because of you doing something wrong and knowing that this is the consequence, you should kill a baby that it was also formed by God, right? Because if you believe in God, you have to believe that if you think you're a child of God, then you have to think that the baby inside of you is also a child of God. So you're killing a child of God
Everybody's
at the
a
same
child of
time.
God.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you can look at it from those perspectives, and because it's complicated, it is. The whole idea with abortion, should you get it when your life is in danger or stuff? Should you get it or not? Like,
But that's why what I'm saying is I can't look at things as right or wrong, because then my entire life I'm going to go on worrying about everything that I did wrong, worrying about all the times that I've sinned, all the times that I messed up, how unworthy I am of God and God's love and all the forgiveness He has for me.
But don't you think that's what everybody goes through to an extent as a believer?
When you think like that,
But-
when you start to think about things like God doesn't want us to be perfect. God
Yeah.
wants us to have a relationship with Him.
Mhm.
God wants us to listen to His advice and heed His word. But does that mean that we're going to be perfect?
No.
Why?
Not at all.
And to your point earlier, there's a lot of consequences that we should face and we have to face, but there's also a lot of consequences that Jesus put on His back
For us, yeah.
when He died on that cross. So if a female decides that the wisest thing for me to do, yes, I messed up. Yes, I don't deserve to be able to get away with this, but because the resource is there and this is the wisest thing to do, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And they go to me and they say, this is what I decided, I would say, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like where you're going with that, to be
I love
honest.
that answer.
Because, however, I think there's a little part that I have to add to that. It's doing what's true in your heart, though. You know what I mean? So a lot of people would like to use that for their own benefit, saying, this is
I see
what
what
God
you're
would have want me to do, and this is the wisest thing. But in their heart, it's because they're feeling so selfish.
Everybody definitely.
So it is what comes out of your
knows.
heart doing that specific action, whether it's a sin or something that... Because a sin that you might commit now, at the moment, you might have thought that it wasn't that bad until you learned more about it, became more wise, and,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
One-
it's
so-
it's what you're doing at the moment with your best ability to think, all right, this is the right decision, and I'll own up to it. So, like, what's coming out of your heart deeply,
Yeah,
and the truth.
to your point, everybody in this room knows what your intention is in every moment. You all know why you're sitting here. We all know why after this is done, we might go outside and smoke or whatever the case may be. And you know what your intention is, and you know whether or not when you're done that, you're like, dang, I want to get better, or, well, I'm good, God forgave me. You know. And not only do you know, but God knows. So it's not about the fact that you did it. It's about your intentions before and after.
It's like you can't hide the truth, you know?
Yeah.
100%.
But having that thought of, okay, after I finish this, let me go out and smoke. Are you going to do that because you know that God will forgive you no matter what? Or are you going to hold yourself back saying,
Yeah.
all right, I'm not going to be selfish because I know I'm committing a sin. So I'm going to hold myself accountable and force myself not
Yeah.
to smoke
There's
because I know
a-
smoking is bad.
There's something that our pastor says. Pastor Joselito.
Okay.
God's forgiveness and what Jesus did isn't a... I need your help. I forget exactly what he says. It isn't a...
Is it a pass?
Isn't a pass to do wrong. It's not a card to
Yeah,
take advantage of.
exactly.
Yeah.
It is help for people who need help. It is not
Right.
something to take advantage of.
Exactly. And that's the kind of thing that I was trying to get to
Yeah.
with the whole abortion thing.
Yeah, I'm on the same page about that. I think actually one thing I wanted to express is a lot of other communities of believers don't have that same mindset
Yeah.
that I was just talking about. And this is not just a problem with those communities, but it's a problem that people who have no clue what God is come into, and they see this and they're like, why the heck am I here? Those same people you were talking about. It's like when we, or when you guys believe in God,
Yeah.
when the four of us say, you're a sinner, you smoke, You smoke
Yeah.
weed, you're a sinner. You get drunk, you're a sinner. Number one, that is a lack of the people who taught us, because it's not about right and wrong. And number two, now when he leaves here, he's gonna go, what the heck? Everything is so lawful in the eyes of God. Why? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Versus when I go, bro, I love you. I want you to know that you're accepted here, regardless if you have jeans on, if you're a female and you come in with a hijab, if you have tattoos on your face. It doesn't make a difference. Because in the Bible,
It's all about the heart.
it's all about what's in your heart and your intention. And in the Bible, it literally says that Jesus himself said, I want you as you are.
Yeah.
Not, I want you to be perfect. I want you to come to him as you are.
It's like God doesn't measure you for your looks, for your wealth, for your even like how many followers you have on social media or whatever.
Yeah.
He measures you by your heart, where your intentions are behind it. There's a lot of people with a lot of money that are not trying to help people. You know what I mean? Like, you can always give that money back to someone that needs it more. For example, they don't do it.
Yeah.
So it's like people that are doing that is really the people that are doing it like with good intentions, and that money's basically it's like God truly helped them get that money for that benefit of giving it to other people.
Yeah. Well, this is a side topic, but one thing I also want to touch on is that so many people come to me and they're like, the Bible was rewritten. I can't believe in the Bible. We as individuals, human beings, still have access to the Hebrew text.
Exactly.
We still have access to the Aramaic, the Greek, and the Hebrew text. The original Bible. So, debunked.
Dude, I know a story. This church burned down, right? Long time ago, when they were attacked and stuff. Everything was burned. Every single thing. The only thing that was untouched, I mean it, perfect, the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these are the stories that you can't make up. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you explain that?
Yeah, there is a lot of crazy miracles that 100% I like to call divine intervention, and 100% are divine intervention. Because when things don't make sense, this is something I live by. If it doesn't make sense, then God did it.
I look at it the same way.
If it does make sense, and if it's something that you can put a label on, oh, well, this happened because this, that's what people love to do, so they can say God didn't do it. Bro, how the heck do we exist? Realistically. Like, the Big Bang Theory itself is getting reworked. How do you rework history? A theory at that. It doesn't make sense. And that's okay to say.
That's why something I wanted to touch on back on earlier is something that I see social media portrayed in the wrong way is exactly what you said. Like, they'll see someone doing wrong and they're committing wrong and they'll say, sinner, you're never going to be accepted, don't try and come to the church, blah, blah, blah. But I think it has to go exactly how you put it. Like, we accept you, we all make wrongs, you're a human, and that's okay. Let us try and guide you to a way to where you become the better version of yourself. And sometimes I see on Instagram comments and TikTok comments where people are like, choose this type of religion and let me tell you why, and you're not doing it right and your decision is wrong. It's exactly it's not about right or wrong. Yeah. The way you guys portrayed it is exactly how it should be. And I feel like if everyone supporting that religion portrayed it in that way, that would be the number one religion. But unfortunately, no religion really has all of their supporters like that. A lot of people are just ignorant in that way.
Bro,
They're not open-minded.
honestly, I want to throw the word religion out of the window. Because
What would you replace it with?
relationship,
Yeah, that's good.
and that would be it. Because what a lot of people think of when they think of religion is not what I think of when I think of my God, when I think of my relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because religion, by definition, means you have a relationship with God or something like that.
I mean, we could always Google.
Yeah, you can soon Google.
But that's
It's
pretty
the-
much
it's the
what it is.
worshiping. It's the worshiping of a god. That's what religion is.
So religion is the worshiping of a god.
Mm.
So technically, I'm religious.
Mhm.
But when you think of religion, the word religion, what do you think of? Do you
I
think
mean,
of
in my
worshiping?
eyes, I just think of people killing each other. I mean, with all honesty, that's
It's not, that's definitely a good way to look at it.
I
right
mean,
now at this
it's
moment. At
Well-
this moment, right now. I mean, of
That's
course
how
it's
people
biased, but when
So, yeah, to that
Hold on,
point.
let me check if these mics are still recording. My bad.
No, you're good.
Alright, you're good.
So to that point about when you think of religion, it's usually negative.
yes,
The word religion.
yeah.
I don't want to consider myself religious.
Okay, and I also think another thing too is that when usually we hear the word religion, we also tie that with tradition as well.
Yeah.
And people look at it and they're like, "Oh, I need to do A, B, and C, and whatever to get into heaven, or I need to do all these things just to get into heaven." Sometimes it's unmotivating. Sometimes people see that they need to do all these prereqs to like get your way into heaven, and I think just that alone discourages people to not even want to go to church.
So, question is, what do you think is the requirement to reach heaven? Is it more of
I like this.
a stat number, or is it more of just having a pure intention in your heart?
When Jesus was on the cross, there was two people next to him, and both of them were criminals. And one of the criminals, you probably know this story, I feel like. No?
Nope.
I feel better
I
about
do.
saying it. So one of the criminals was like, if you're God, get us up out of here.
Yeah.
Let us teleport. And he gave him the stiff arm. And then the other bull was like, I messed up in my life, and all I ask God is that you know my name. Is that when you go to heaven, you remember who I am.
And he told the other guy too, across the other cross
Yeah.
that he was crucified. He said, "We are criminals. This guy didn't do anything. He's
Mhm.
innocent,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
and he's up here with us. So what right gives you,
have to
to
tell
tell
him.
him to take us down when we did something wrong?
Yeah.
But he's here innocent, right next to us."
And for me, what I take out of that story is that guy who was like, just remember my name, is 9 times out of 10, we're going to see him in heaven before we see anybody else.
Jesus,
Because-
And Jesus
I got
did
you.
tell
Yeah,
him.
he was like, "I got
Jesus
you."
did tell him, "You're gonna see me. You're gonna be sitting next to me in heaven."
Yeah, that
He
one-
said, "I got you. I got you, dog."
Yeah, I got you.
So that kind of shows that it's the intention in your heart, like
Exactly.
you're owning up to your sins,
So,
and you know you're
yeah,
sinful.
and I said that story to say it's
Mhm.
not about the stats.
Okay.
It's about
The heart.
the heart.
Ah.
Definitely that relationship as well. Too.
That's what I was going to say, but I didn't want him to feel bad.
Yeah.
But do you think there's like
I'm
still
sorry.
some set of rules,
You think I feel bad?
knowing?
What am I,
'cause you were
remorseful?
You were like, the heart, and I was like, the heart.
Wait, first of all, what you guys do in your Bible studies and stuff? Is it like going over the Bible, reading it, and then kind of like understanding what it says and talking about
No.
it and something like that?
No.
What is it? Is it like a
So-
traditional
No.
church?
We, for so long, have been trying to find another name than a Bible study
Yeah.
because we don't know. This isn't a Bible study.
Because
It's like a Bible conversation.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think with Bible study, I think the same way with the term religion, people get the wrong idea what a Bible study is in some sense. Like when we say, oh yeah, we're doing a Bible study, people think we're just going to be going over verse after verse after verse and just talking about it.
So what would you replace that with? Not Bible study, just something
It's,
simple.
bro,
as,
it's exactly like this conversation right now.
Yeah.
so a Bible
exactly.
conversation.
I think
Somebody
it's-
can take that.
forget the
wrong way
Bible
too.
conversation.
But yeah.
Forget
Bible
forget
podcast.
Bible talk. Forget Bible podcasts. All it is a conversation.
Yeah, but when somebody asks you what do you do, saying
Have
Bible study,
conversations.
there's nothing wrong with that either. Just
You're
because
right, and
somebody gets a
that's-
wrong idea doesn't
and
mean the
that
term
is-
itself needs to be changed.
Exactly, and that's
Because it
why
can't be a Bible study. You're studying the Bible.
Yeah.
Because,
That's-
like I said,
that's
the
why we
Bible
still
can't
do.
be read literally. Because if you do, you will be very confused. Because
Yeah.
you won't even comprehend what's going on. Especially in the
think-
Old Testament, it's like you have this image of loving God, but what He does in the Old Testament and what He has people do, it's like you're gonna make, all right, He's evil, but you have to look at it in a different perspective. And I'm still on that journey of finding out and still learning about it because it is very hard to comprehend.
I think that
what it says.
certain texts are really difficult to dive into because of all the what's the word?
Like history.
Oh my goodness, I'm burping.
Complicated, hard
The
to
com-
comprehend.
Bless you.
It's like, thank you.
The deep understanding of what it actually
It's like the
says.
parables and analogies.
Yeah, exactly. A lot
that
of that.
there might be complication understanding.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of text like one Bible verses, one of the Bible verses I personally like a lot. It says I'm trying to choose, there's two actually.
Say both.
Just
of
say
them.
both.
Alright, so one of them is, as iron sharpens iron, a friend sharpens
A friend,
dumbass.
yeah.
a friend sharpens a friend.
I needed to think, bro. Dude.
You had to think. That's my
Yes,
bad.
sir.
I put you on the spot.
I love that. I love that.
Let me hang
All
I
right,
love
what's the
that.
other one? Joel,
This is
what's
my
the other
friend.
What's
But-
the other one?
Friend or bodyguard?
A little bit of
A little
both.
both.
He's really the bodyguard.
Okay, what's the other one?
I'm kidding, by the way. The other one is, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. And the reason I chose those two is because both of those are very easy to understand, and those are things like, in this conversation, I can tell you guys and I can say, bro, what's your biggest dream?
Making sure that I have a strong and healthy family. That's it.
And I can respond confidently, no miscommunication or hard to understand. You can do that through Christ who strengthens you, because that's what the Bible says. I can say that me and him are good friends because as iron sharpens iron, me and him sharpen each other.
Exactly.
So yes, some of it you do have to sit down and go into detail with, but
There are some things.
there's
that are
also some
very
things
easy to
that
understand.
is easygoing, it's easy to understand, and it's easy to have a conversation about.
But it's mostly the New Testament. The old one's the one that you really have to sit down and really understand what it says for the most part.
I think one thing a lot of people struggle with is a lot of the Bible was written for a certain people at a certain time. Like there was a certain time when a woman weren't they couldn't have the pants in a sense.
Yeah.
They couldn't hold it down. And during that time, it reflects in the Bible. And there are some hardcore, I would call them hardcore religious people that live like that today because it reflects itself in the Bible. But if you think about it, bro, if you're actually kind of being intentional about what you're reading and understanding God's intentions, which is almost, it's a very hard task, but if you feel like you can understand God's intentions, why would God today want women to be anything less than they are? You know what I'm saying?
Because I think they weren't even accepted to go to church before, and they wouldn't let
There
them or
was a
something
lot
like
of
that.
crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, it was stuff like that.
I don't know the details, but I do know that there's something in the Bible that says something like that. And I also know that there's no reason for that today, because the law is not the same as it used to be in government.
I mean, the New Testament too. Everything just changed.
Yeah, of
The
course.
story of Jesus.
Yeah, as
was
soon as
just
Jesus
told.
Christ came along,
Everything. Yeah, a lot of things just changed a lot.
it's on like a table. Do I believe God is coming back to earth, and do I believe there's a judgment day? I do believe that.
What is it gonna be like?
It's gonna be like a day of judgment.
Like, what's gonna happen?
So
Because I'm pretty sure it says something about that in the Bible. I don't know what it says exactly, but there's a day of judgment. And Mike, it's something like
The Red Revelation.
yeah. So
The 7 trumpets.
the
yeah.
7 trumpets.
Yeah.
So what is that
So, like,
gonna
y'all
be
know
like?
when,
The
like-
day of judgment.
Joy Boy came back.
What?
Joy Boy.
Joy Boy?
You don't know Joy Boy?
What One Piece?
None of you know. You know Joy Boy?
Yeah, of course.
That's what I was saying. Like when Joy Boy came back, it was like, dun dun.
The drums of liberation.
Yeah,
Basically,
that's
I feel
basically that.
Is that what it's based off?
maybe. I guess we'll never know.
What is Joy Boy?
Joy Boy.
Off topic.
It's
Joy
from one
Boy-
Piece, some anime, right?
Yeah,
Joy
it's
Boy
a-
is a One Piece Jesus. No, I'm just kidding. No, I that's just like a funny analogy.
No, yeah.
But honestly, like I would say, the safest answer to that question for me right now, I'm going for a safe answer because I don't know, and that's it. I don't completely know. I think that
What is your thought like?
my
Did
thought,
you ever think about it?
my
come
thought,
up with
and
your
what
own
I
answer?
think about it is I trust God. Whatever's gonna happen, I trust. If he's
So
gonna,
you do think there will be a day of judgment?
Yeah, I think that there will be one day that we have to face
Or yeah, the
our
consequence.
final consequence.
Yep.
And whether it's going to be bad or good is not my call. It's God's call. And when, where, how, what, whatever. If there's going to be 7 trumpets, I don't know. And it doesn't concern me because I trust God. And that.
And you know
that's
in
it.
your heart that you're doing the right thing.
And I know in my heart that I have a good relationship with God. It's not for me. I feel like Sadula. I feel like you're trapped in the mindset of right and wrong.
Okay.
So like when you say things like that, like you know in your heart you're doing the right thing. No, but I know I love God and I think that Jesus Christ died on the cross for me.
I
And I
believe
know I
the
wanna be
same
better.
exact thing. I believe in the same exact thing. So
Right.
me saying right and wrong is just my perception of how I build my relationship with God. Because my counter argument to that is that for the most part, I'm not even talking about you. But for the most part, people I've met that say I have a good relationship with God and I believe in God and God will forgive me no matter what. They are the people that will most likely commit a sin, saying, "I know God loves me and God will forgive me." That's selfish. So, in my heart, I have to know right and wrong that God set for us these rules to follow that will benefit us, and the beneficial of that would be having a strong relationship with Him. Because you know what Jesus said? Somebody went up to him and saying, "Oh Jesus, I did this for you. I casted demons out of people in your name, all that kind of stuff." But then Jesus said, "I never knew you." God doesn't want us to go and brag about what kind of relationship we have with God, or saying, "I try my best to have a good relationship with God," but it's about what you did to form that relationship with God and what you did for those people. It's not just about your relationship with God. It's about what God wants you to do to those people.
He even asked, "Did you do what I told you to do?" And the guy didn't do what he told him to do, because he was just doing it just to say, "Oh, one day I'll just be like, oh, I did this for you," but it wasn't the intention that it was like the rules that he set for us to follow, which is beneficial for us at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Sounds very similar to what we think we have to do to get into heaven, especially with like churches.
But I think having a mindset of right and wrong, I personally don't think it's wrong or bad.
I don't
Or
think
you're gonna.
I don't think
feel
it's bad.
trapped.
I think it's just not me.
The way I see it is, it works for him.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It helps him drive him to become the best version
Right.
of himself. And it may not work for you, and it's as simple as that.
And I'm still learning. I'm still
Yeah.
learning. You know what I mean? I'm still
Your
reading the
belief is
Bible.
not the right way, and his belief is not the right way. It's like you say, you put it, it's your
I believe mine's
circumstances.
right. in my heart, it's right though.
Talk to
You know what I mean? It's like, for us to label which is right and wrong, that would be a wrong conversation. The thing is, what's right for me in my
Yeah,
heart?
That's the,
Yeah,
that's
like
the
the
point.
intention. Yeah.
the circumstances.
Yeah. I
Everyone's
was just saying,
circumstance is different, and
like the
we'll
last
feel
thing I was
however you
saying.
want. It's different.
I
You
was
have to
just
accept that.
yeah.
Why don't you show him the comment?
Oh, yeah.
I just really want to get into that. I'm so eager to get into that.
All right, you want to read it?
And we'll
Yeah.
pop it up on the screen too.
This is
I
one
do
of the
want to
comments.
finish
Yeah, go ahead.
this real quick though. I don't think that it's wrong for you to have that mindset. I think the only thing for me is I don't like to express that kind of stuff onto people who don't know God.
Yeah, me
And-
neither.
And what else? And I did also want to say like we might just have the thing might just be like
I think it's a misunderstanding
literature.
of not even knowing each other either. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and our
we haven't-
the words like that we're using, like I don't know how to explain it.
Might not match with what we're
With
we're mean
what I
we're
think
meaning to say.
certain words mean,
Yeah.
what you think certain words
Exactly.
mean, might be the miscommunication. And then the other thing I was gonna say is like, actually forget that, John. Alright, so what is this? A tweet? A comment?
Comment on Instagram, yeah.
Alright, so this IG comment by God is dead.
Wait, what was it? What was
No, it
it?
doesn't matter who it's by.
God is
But
dead.
Just
we
say
give
it.
Shout out to the names.
Is that this guy's
Repeat.
shout out?
No, it's not.
Just say who.
I'm
Doesn't
gonna
matter.
give a shout out, but I want you guys to blur it. Like I want you guys to be like,
I wouldn't shout him out. Though.
Yeah,
Just
I
say-
want to
just
know.
say
Don't
the
shout
comment.
out. Don't say the name.
all
Don't
right,
say
I'm
the
gonna say something,
People can see
and
it
you
regardless.
guys, I'm gonna say his name, and you guys just have to bleep it. All right. All right. So comment by Weirdo 2 days ago.
Wait, let me see.
I was gonna read it.
Hey, how about this? Just read the
You could just read the comment.
comment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
even
yeah.
mention
I was
anything.
gonna
Not
read
no weirdo, nothing like that.
No,
You know what I mean?
I was gonna read it.
I don't know. I'm suggesting just respect the person, whoever commented. Nothing weirdo, stupid,
Yeah,
whoever they
yeah.
may be,
No, no,
smart
no, no,
person,
no.
intelligent. Just read the comment and make your point on it. If not, we don't have to do it, bro.
weird.
All right.
Okay.
I feel attacked. All right. All right. I'm gonna reset. So. All right. IG comment. God is dead. Religion is propaganda. Everything you do on this planet will not have a consequence after. Think for yourselves and live a life that makes you happy, not quote unquote God. Brainwashed ASSMFS. So my response to this is probably not going to be what you expect or anybody expects, but my response is okay.
Great.
Great.
I was worried that you
Talk
were
to you
gonna.
later.
I was worried that you were gonna say some shit like, "No, let me tell you why my belief is right and yours is wrong." It's okay, bro. They can like. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Their belief is their belief. It doesn't matter.
You can't tell somebody who doesn't even believe in what I believe in, oh, you're wrong because blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter what I say. He made up.
Mm-hmm.
And this podcast, like, even if he watches it, he's gonna listen and he's gonna just make another comment. So it's like, there's no point in responding.
Question for you: do you think, because you're not a believer, right or wrong, and so am I? I don't think that's a. Do you think he's wrong for texting that?
Do I think he's wrong?
For his idea, for his thoughts.
To comment such a thing.
I think.
Not to comment that, but his belief.
Do I think his belief is wrong?
Yeah.
He doesn't have belief.
His belief is that God is dead. Religion is propaganda. Like, do you think that's a wrong way of thinking?
Because everybody has a belief at the end of the day.
Do I think that his belief about God being propaganda is wrong?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that God is not propaganda.
So you're just not answering right and wrong.
I mean, I think it
I'm
was,
not saying you have to.
this is what I think. This is my entire insight on that comment. It's negative, and I don't agree.
But would you?
But
say
that's okay.
Just okay to it, or would you try
mean,
to
yeah.
share your viewpoint on what the person said? Because with your viewpoints, he can get educated on it and maybe see it from a different perspective. People like
he
them,
can't.
in my eyes, they're in a very dark place. When people are in a very dark place and are lost, that's the kind of comment they say. I
I-
bet that person, with all the assumptions I'm making, wasn't introduced to God, or else they wouldn't say that.
I think that, believe it or not, I think that they are introduced to God. I think that they grew up probably in some kind of traditional church, and they experienced, oh, you're a sinner, oh, you can't be coming in here with jeans or something like that, and they experienced that, and that's what makes people like that. Though I could be wrong, but I also think that people that have that mindset and think like that, if I were to open up a conversation with that person, it would turn into a debate. And debates lead nowhere, ever.
Depends on your intentions with the debate.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does. You can have a debate with somebody because a debate is pretty much opposing
So
side.
what is a debate?
So, say he thinks that God exists. I believe God doesn't exist. We're having a debate while sharing each other's viewpoints on it.
But
now,
nothing-
obviously, the audience sometimes, and even the people who are watching, decides if he won or I won. But you
There's
see,
no winning.
no. Once I'm getting to it, it's not about winning or losing. I think a debate has to be viewed, for the most part, as sharing different thoughts and ideas that will educate each other and educate the audience. It's not
you
about
guys-
winning and losing. It's just winning and losing is made by, well, the audience pretty much judges that based on if he made a good argument for his claim, if I made a good argument on my claim.
I think that debates are whoever wins is the person who is louder, and whoever, if me and him are having a debate,
Yeah.
whatever I say, he's not hearing me, and whatever he says, I'm not hearing him.
Yeah.
Because all I care about is my point and proving my point, and all he cares about is proving his point. So we're not sharing ideas in that sense. I think the only people that benefit from this are the people who post the videos and make the money. And
Can I just-
Other than that, it's like, it's from my experience, it's pointless.
That's and from the like you're right in the most sense, but it doesn't have to be. If both of those people debating can be open-minded, then to those it absolutely can be beneficial. If you come into that debate thinking I'm gonna stick with my belief and that's it, I don't even want to listen what this guy says because I know I'm right, blah blah. You're not gonna get anywhere and it's gonna turn out like that. But if both of those parties can actually think, all right, why don't I try and understand this guy, what he thinks and why he thinks it, then the debate can be. But you're not wrong to say that debates are like that because it's so rare. Like everyone would just be, I'm right. Like that's why debates are kind of like ruined. Like especially when you see those like clips, those short clip with someone on the table and it says, come debate me. Everyone's just like, they would just go the other way because they don't even listen to what the fuck he has to say. They're like, he thinks abortion is wrong. Well, my point is right. I don't care what he has to say. And it's like that.
Both of them are right. It's just a different situation.
Exactly.
Different
Yeah.
circumstance.
It's also what you said, like how they view the word debate in general. Like, you know what I mean? It's the understanding of, for me, debate might be, oh, I gotta win the argument. I gotta be, when someone's watching me, I want them to think that I'm the guy that said the right information. The other guy got like smoked with a roast or whatever. Somebody might look at the debate as Sadula saying, in a way of two people sharing their own viewpoints, and then the audience decides who said the information that works for them. You understand what I mean?
Right.
So it's just defining the word itself.
Right, in this case, like the audience is like the open-minded people, right? Like if we're talking about if the two people debating are closed-minded, then the audience is the one that's being open-minded and deciding which side they want to choose.
That's why usually when it's someone that, like you said, I heard you before we started, you were like, I observe people, right? That's the people that are the ones that actually understand what's going on. So if I'm the one observing those two people having a debate or even argument, they're not really understanding each other. But me observing it from the outside view, I understand them better than they understand themselves. Right, because I'm the one that's being more open-minded. That's why there's always what?
I think with debate, the two people that are arguing can also learn way more than any person in the audience.
No, of course. What I'm saying is
99% of people will end up defending their point and not admitting they're wrong. It's just it's ingrained in human nature to not prove that they're wrong. But after they come home and they think about that situation, that's when it starts kicking in. Kind of thinking about what the other guy said, and they may stick with their point, but at least they open the gate. It usually doesn't happen at the moment of the debate because they're heated. They're allowing their emotions to come into place.
Yeah.
It's once they come home and they think, this guy did say, and most people won't do this, but some people will acknowledge, say, this guy had this point. And at the moment, I was like, huh.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell him he's got a point. And then you think about it, and that could actually help you more than anyone in the audience.
Absolutely. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
That's what I said. Like, for me, a word that I'm gonna say might not be the same word or the meaning that you're thinking about. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So for me, I might define debate differently. You might define debate in a different way. It's just all about perspectives and how we look at it. At the end of the day, we just got to think of being open-minded all the time and just understanding what the other person has to say, because we always learn whether we agree with it or not. Because you always... Here's the thing. I might not think that what Sadhu is saying is like right or wrong, or even... I might even be disagreeing with what he's saying, but at the end of the day, it's stuck in my head. Therefore, I'm thinking what he said, and I might consider it. That's what matters.
Yeah.
And this all goes back to the comment, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think just saying okay isn't enough. In my opinion, like.
I think the reason I said okay was because, in a sense, it's like I don't want to waste my time.
I like that. I kind of like.
So, like, yes, it will not help him whatsoever, but I don't know anything that will, and I don't want to argue.
I think sometimes it is okay to say okay, just because sometimes, like, and how you said, like, that person wasn't introduced to God, they're probably low or whatever. Sometimes people are just going to be ignorant, and you shouldn't waste your time. Like, I don't know that, but I wouldn't want to waste my
message gives you every reason to believe he is close-minded. And you're right, you don't know that. But why pursue an action that...
Well, how many closed-minded people do you know that you changed their mind?
Bro, when I got on one knee,
What?
and I said to my fiance, do you want to marry me? You know how many people were like, aren't you 19 years old?
Yeah, I know that.
And
I
I'm
can
like-
imagine.
I'm like,
That's me.
exactly, yeah, I am 19 years old. And everybody has something to say about it. But if I sit there and try to explain to everybody why I did it, I'll be explaining for a lifetime. Versus me just saying, okay.
Yeah, I watched this one TikToker. His name's Squid. That's the I think name he goes by, and he started like a clothing brand business that's like booming right now. And his family members would come up to him and say, "This isn't gonna go work out. You should have probably stopped." And he was just like, "Yeah, you're right." He literally would agree with them, not waste any time. He would agree with them and then prove him wrong through actions, not words. Prove his point through actions, not words. Whatever.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
without it. What the fuck are you arguing about?
You know what's gonna be more powerful at the end of the day is when
Well, you're not wasting energy trying to
Yeah.
prove a point.
And not everyone's gonna understand what you're trying to tell them. They're always gonna get the wrong message that you're saying. Same thing with like what we're talking about with
Yeah, but
God.
how is he gonna prove this though? How is he gonna prove this with actions?
bro, you said it the first. As soon
Because
as I
that's
sat,
already an action.
what is the first thing you said when I sat down? You were like, Joel has changed.
Yeah.
How did I change? Through God.
Yeah.
So him saying God is propaganda. Okay. But am I in college? But do I have a fiance? But do I have my own car? But am I saving up enough money to buy my own house within the next 4 years? Thanks to God.
Yeah, but that's the
That's
thing.
the
though.
action.
I mean, if you were to said that about the comment, wouldn't you think it would be a better idea than saying okay? Because you just did.
Why do I have
That
to,
would
what do I have
already-
to tell him?
What?
What do I have to tell him?
I mean, you just did. Why'd you have to say it now? You could have just kept your mouth shut, right?
Because that's, you said, what's the action? That's the action. My life is my proof.
Why couldn't you say that about the comment?
Because words only mean so much. When he sees me in this podcast, and I explain to him, yo, 5 years ago, I was smoking weed, skipping classes, getting beating people up, doing dumb things, had no money in my pocket, didn't have a job.
Yeah.
And was failing on my classes. Now, for 3 years in a row, I have a 3.0 GPA and better.
That's your answer right there, Joel.
But that's all.
that
But
would have been so much better than saying okay.
But
Because you literally just went out of your way right now to say that. You could have said, okay, I'm not even going to sit here and say that to
I think
Sadula
what
or
he's
this guy.
saying is, regardless of someone's understanding you or not, what he's trying to say is like we're here to, because obviously this podcast.
Alright, you
is
said
for-
that to
for
me
us
right
help
now. I
them.
could have been like, I don't understand you, Joel. Does that mean you wasted your time?
I
Because
think
that person could have either understood you or not. You could have still said it, right?
I don't think me and you are on the same page. I don't know if I understand what you're saying, and I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I personally will go out of my way when it comes to things that I'm passionate about, which is God,
Right.
and telling more people about how great He is and how He's changed my life. I'll
Mhm.
be always proud of that.
Yeah.
So no matter how negative the comment is, or if that person won't trust me, I will speak up and say it. And waste that energy, waste that time, if you want to call it like that.
So let me ask you this. All the people that told Jesus, you're not God, all the people that said to Jesus, go on that cross, all the people that put Jesus on the cross, drove the nails through his hands, what did he say to them?
Some of them He didn't respond to.
He didn't
but
say
some of them
anything
He
to them.
did.
All he said was, God, forgive them. The truth could have set him free. If he told them, I know what I'm doing here. I am God. And he could have proved it. He could have said, look, bam, flower in my hand.
Yeah.
He didn't. You know why? Because it doesn't matter.
So
It's a
when,
waste.
Okay.
when you go out of your way and you try and tell these people to like why you're like explaining your reasoning, whatever it is, why? What are you trying to prove to anyone? Why?
I'm not trying to prove.
But then why
I don't
go
look
out
at
of your
it
way?
proving. I'm
But then
looking
why
at
are
it
you
helping.
going out of your way?
Like I said,
Something
there's
to-
only
is that
couple
the
of
right term?
things. Look, like
You
I said,
can't help
there's
somebody who
only
doesn't want to be
one second.
helped.
There's only couple of things I'm very passionate about, and that's one of them. And always on top, God for me, and telling people about how great God is, whether they understand it or not. I think I look at it as my part, being on earth. One of my purposes to go out of my way, even if it is because Jesus was crucified on the cross for me. So I think I should be the person going out of my way to help somebody. I look at it helping. Now there are
That's not.
situations where I won't go in a conversation where I don't think it's necessary. I'll hold back and I won't go as far as just saying, okay, this is my belief, this way. And if they keep going and stuff, I'm like, okay,
You
we can't come to an extent, and I'll
I feel
stop.
like-
I think what he's
But
trying to
I
say
don't
is like
just
you won't-
say, okay, I don't feel like it's worth my time. I just don't do that.
So let me ask you
I'm not
this,
saying
'cause
always,
I don't have
but for the most
context
part.
as to what this guy's commenting on. What was he commenting on?
So
Wait. Before that, I think what he's trying to say is like he won't go out from his way to prove it to people, and the people that are gonna say some negative stuff, he's saying he's passionate about this specific thing he said about God. So so for him, it's not a waste of time at all in any case, even if they don't understand it, for him to just talk about it, what he thinks about God. Right? It might be I might be walking in the street, somebody calls me stupid, I might not tell them anything, right? He will ignore it, but he won't ignore something that's coming about God. You know what I mean? Because he wants to help as many people as possible. That's what he's trying to say. Not just like it's waste of time, sure, but when it comes to God and he's passionate about it, that's why he's going out of his way. If it was
So-
about something else, maybe he wouldn't. But since it's about God and something that's very powerful, that's why he wants to go out of his way and waste his energy.
Yeah, so the reason I was asking what did he comment on is because the way that you help them is by there's this quote. It goes, everywhere you go, preach the gospel and only use words if needed. So that means everything I post, I can post 1,000 pictures and I'm supposed to be able to represent God without saying a word. Now, that is, put that in the sky, right? Now, this guy who commented on this video, or whatever it was, I don't know what it was, that's why I was asking. But I'm not going to be able to help him by responding to the comment. How I can help him is by showing him that God is not propaganda.
okay, true. And another thing is
With the visual.
exactly, and it's important that you ask for context because what you said earlier, like you can't help someone that
Doesn't
needs
want
to be
help.
helped, but you can't but that's what with Sadula's point is you can't go into that knowing who wants to be helped or not. So you kind of need to build on situational awareness in that sense because when that guy commented and saying he literally threw an insult talking about brainwashed ass motherfuckers. Like, he knows that too because he read it. Is this really the type of guy you want to help? Is this really the type of guy you think wants to listen to you or wants to be helped? That's not the type. Like, was that the type of person that you're gonna waste your time with?
I don't.
That's the thing. I don't look at it as wasting my time.
Well, regardless, is that the type of person you want to try? Is this the type of person that you want to give your
those are the
reasoning or
people that
whatever?
need help.
So,
in my perspective, that's the kind
Do
of
you
person
think
needs
he'll listen
help.
to you? Do you, after throwing
There's a
personal
possibility.
insult at you,
You don't know if he's gonna listen to me. I don't know if he's gonna listen to me. There's a possibility of him listening to me. There's a possibility of him not listening to me. That doesn't change the fact that I have to try to do it because I look at it as I need to try.
But why take
You
that?
don't.
But why take that possibility when instead
Because-
you can rather show him? That's
There's
so much stronger
both.
than just
you
saying.
can do both. I never said don't show the person.
I know you're
because
not saying, but what would you prefer to do? Would you prefer to tell him, or would you prefer to show him?
You can do both. You can
do
tell
both,
them
but
and show
what would you rather
them.
do? What would you
This
rather
is a
do?
debate.
If I only had one option,
Yes.
actions speak louder than
So
words.
focus on that. Why focus on telling him? This is you can tell through that. I can tell you through that type of comment. This guy's not going to listen to you.
You can't tell me that, bro.
I'll tell you.
You
what's-
think as someone that types a personal insult over a text talking about you guys are not gonna have consequences after you're brainwashed, you're motherfuckers,
You
whatever.
can't tell me that, bro.
Bro, he obviously doesn't want to know more about God, because he would have been like, "What makes you think that?"
Yeah.
Instead he
Imagine
said,
I can
his response-
present any type of scenario for you because it can go back and forth. That person could be in such a dark place where they weren't introduced to somebody that would respect their opinion, because you have to respect somebody's opinion no matter how dark it is, because you could have been in that situation. What do you think now
But respect
that you're
is
saying,
saying,
all right,
okay.
so right, for somebody could be completely wrong?
but to respect their opinion is as simple as saying, "Okay,
Okay.
So
we can agree
sure.
to disagree."
Okay.
His answer
sense.
would have been completely different if that guy said, I believe God is propaganda, rather than the context of that message being so attack worthy, having no intention. You can read that text 10 times and know he had zero intention to know the opposite. He made up his mind.
But
If he
that
would have
doesn't
put
mean
the
that
context,
I don't have to try.
I know.
to-
What I'm saying, for him to say, the reason he said okay is not because he wanted to say that. It's because he could tell that guy was closed-minded. He would have answered that question completely different if that guy said,
It's not even a
Is it-
question.
is it-
If it was a question,
yeah, if he said, why do you believe this?
That could
Yeah.
simply also
Would've
mean
been a
that you're
different-
too quick to judge too.
say it one more time.
So I just want to basically
real
make
quick.
sure.
I did not hear what you just said.
Okay.
What did you just say?
I said too quick to judge somebody.
Us?
No. It could. So he said that by saying that person has no intention of wanting to know about God and stuff, and saying, all right, there's no point. It's kind of being too quick to judge
Okay.
to an extent. I'm not saying you specifically did that,
No.
but I'm saying, in my opinion, when it comes to that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, it could be taken as you're too quick to judge.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand. That's why I didn't hear you.
No, because you did. I can tell you felt like I said that about you, and you
Oh, no,
probably
no,
still
no,
do
no.
think that.
No.
Because it wasn't an insult to you. It's about
No,
how
no,
do
no.
you take it.
I don't feel targeted. I promise. Pinky promise.
So
All right, just let him.
so I just want to get like a good understanding. So when it comes out to this person commenting this this comment, you would basically reach out to him regardless if he's open or closed-minded, correct?
I would respond to the comment.
Regardless if he's open-minded
Yeah.
or closed-minded,
Yeah.
right?
Yo, W bodyguard. I'm sorry. I just had to say that real quick.
Angel is sick and tired of being called bodyguard, bro.
It's cool.
He was like, I'm earning my spot.
And you believe, right, that something like this requires more action, right, than a simple comment, right? Because I can see both points here. I can see there is a possibility that he could possibly be open-minded, even though right now, what looks like it's like he's more closed-minded than open-minded, but there is still a possibility that he can be open-minded.
Yeah.
And with that, I feel like if we're going through this route of text, I think with being more open-minded, we have to start getting to the root of like, okay, why do you feel this way? What made you feel this way? Was it the church? Was it your family? Are you
Yeah,
with a specific
I agree
thing?
with that.
And then it goes a lot deeper than that. But I feel like getting to those answers and getting to the real to the
Nitty-gritty.
to the real nitty gritty of why this person is the way they are,
Yeah.
I think the best and most effective way would be for them to be here and talking to them. And I think that's more of an action thing than through talking, because we can't obviously,
We don't even know if that person's gonna see it.
Right.
It's a possibility, right?
That's why social media is trash.
But that's why you believe, right, that that action was more important here, right? That to like disregard this comment, be like, okay, like this happened, right?
Yeah, I think what might end up would either be figure out, understand them, or not say anything. But that is why.
Okay.
Because
and I see
it's
also,
impossible.
and I also see
No, I
your,
do
your
see
intention
both
of trying
point
to
of views.
reach out as well, because there is still a possibility, and I think that it's something that we should always take accountability to as well. So that's not a bad mindset.
Yeah.
None of these are bad mindsets.
I say we move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
5 questions.
Should we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the 5 questions. Pretty good.
So it's gonna be for both of you, right? 5
Yeah.
questions
Yeah.
each.
5 questions each?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
but it's gonna be
Wow.
the same questions.
Same question.
Okay, I'll see that.
So, one of you answer first, and then the next time.
Oh my bad.
And then the next person answers the same question.
Yeah, and then next time that guy will answer first. That way you guys don't copy each other and steal your ideas.
So you want me to like close my ears?
Yeah.
What is your best advice to somebody in life? If you had to give them one advice.
Oh, you guys have like 5 questions.
Yeah, for every guest.
So you ask everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, so now I really have to think about this. Can you ask me again? I feel like I need to hit home.
What is your best advice to somebody if you were to tell them about life?
That's advice. I only give like one statement.
No, dude, you go.
2.
Yeah, yeah.
I said 2.
2 statements?
No, I said 1.
I can go if you want.
You go first.
I think my best advice, especially coming from just my background, is just love. Honestly, love comes with so many other things, so that's why it's such a good word to use. When you love someone, you're patient with them, you're kind with them, and you take the time to really understand that person. And I think doing that with a lot of people goes a long way, especially when, just building that connection, but also just resulting any negativity or any issues that you might be having. So I think love goes a long way.
Good answer.
For me, my number one advice to every individual on this planet is your number one priority should be peace. Period.
The second question is, what is your personal drive? What is that keeps you going?
Oh, I guess I'm going again.
You go again.
I think that drives me the most is just self-improvement, honestly. Well, it's a bit of 2 things, but self-improvement, because I always want to, continue to build myself, whether that be through skills, whether that be through knowledge, whatever that may be. I look at every day as a way that I can just continue growing myself. And with that in mind, another thing is just serve. I do want to serve other people. I would love to make other people happy. And I feel like in order for me to successfully do that, when I continue to keep building myself over and every single day, each and every single day, then I can effectively help the people around me. And I just love seeing people happy.
Good answer.
Welcome to the Broasting Big Plan.
The thing that drives me is my purpose. Whatever my purpose is, I gotta get
Do
it.
you know it, or you're still looking for it?
Do I know my purpose? I hope so.
I believe it's always shifting.
It's always
It's
shifting.
whatever you believe it is now will most likely not be what it is.
I think as long as I'm doing something that I'm passionate about and serving at the same time, then I'm living in my purpose.
Good answer.
You like how I stole that, little key?
What do you value the most in a person? Like a characteristic? What's some kind of trait?
I've been going for like 2 rounds.
Alright. So, what I value the most in a person, it's a person-to-person basis. Like, what I value the most in Sadula is not what I value the most in Angel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What
So I
about
feel
a
like-
partner? Like, what would you value in a partner?
Am
But
I-
is it something? What is something that you look for in a person? Something that you really respect when it's there. Like when you feel loyalty from somebody, that's something that you respect. Obviously, everybody's gonna have different type of
I feel like
strong traits, but
kindness.
kind of.
I put kindness to a high standard. If you could be as kind as my man's Angel, Then,
Kindness goes long
Yeah,
long
that's
way.
Shout out Angel. Number one body.
shout out bodyguard.
I would say for me, well, definitely kindness, but something for me as well is just being open-minded, like open-mindedness.
Yeah.
Open-mindedness. And basically, I feel like people with that characteristic, they could have all these negative traits, and you can still talk to them, and they can still, but as long as if they're closed-minded, they can never grow.
Yeah.
So I feel like if someone expresses a characteristic of open-mindedness, that is enough just for them to become a better person, and then I can talk to them to help them become a better person. So I think I cherish that characteristic a lot.
And you can have a genuine conversation with that person when they're open-minded.
Yes.
And then feel free telling them what you think.
And then they won't get upset at me.
Exactly.
Love it.
Hopefully.
What is one thing that you notice in today's society that's a problem, and how do you think you can overcome that? Or what you see something that people tend to face?
I personally am really, really upset about what's going on between Palestine and Israel. It's really like, when I talk about this, I like to tread lightly because everybody has their own point of view, and I just hope that in my existence I could prevent things from this happening by teaching everybody that peace is your number one priority. Because if Israel and Palestine and Hamas were just about peace and peace only, then we wouldn't have that kind of problem.
Yeah. Sorry, can you restate the question real quick?
So
Did I not answer it? Maybe
Yeah.
I didn't.
No.
Okay,
I was still thinking. That's why I was like,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. No, like when I was answering it, I was like, did I answer this?
what is like an issue that you see people face as a society today, and how do you overcome it? What's kind of like the solution to it, in your terms?
I think one thing that I see society do a lot that I might not necessarily agree with, and this also might be a little bit controversial as well, is that people put a label and a box in everything. People tend to, if you fit in a certain group, you're this label. If you do this, you're this label. If you do this, you're in that label. You know, if you're a man, you're in that box. If you're a woman, you're in that box.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you do that, you're limiting everyone to what they could be, and I feel like that's not really a sense of community if you're putting everyone in separate boxes.
Such a good answer.
Yeah, totally.
Too quick to judge.
Yeah,
Tie into that too.
and I feel
Love
like once those boxes are open, I feel like that's when we can really become a community.
Damn, Angel.
You could. All right, fifth and final question. What is something negative that you hear from people that you just completely disagree with?
Just anything that bros think big talk about.
Guys, unfortunately, this video won't be out.
No, I just personally, it's funny that we talked about it, but I just really, really don't like arguments and debates. Like, that's something I'm really strongly against because of the place that it gets people to. A lot of times, like you were saying, 99%.
Yes.
It's really a lot of people. When you start the debates and stuff like that, it gets people in a mindset that's just so like anti-human. It's like, we came here to learn, we came here to grow, and when you get in those kind of mindsets that an argument puts you in, it's no good. So that's what I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to respond to that after, but I'm
He's
gonna
gonna cook me now.
Oh no.
No.
You said you're wrong.
I'm gonna share my viewpoint on it. That's all.
Okay.
Okay, something I would say that I don't like is when people say like the phrase "I will never."
Oh yeah.
I feel like sometimes people will be like, "Oh, I will never be this. I will never get rid of this. I will always be depressed. I will always be sad." I feel like when you say that, you're affirming that that's what you believe.
Yes.
You're not saying that you're basically confirming that that's the spot that you want to stick with, and I feel like when we say that, I just completely disagree, because I'm just like, no, but you can, because there's hope.
Awesome.
I feel like if you switch literally what you say around every single day, there's going to be some sort of change. Instead of I will not do this, I will. And I feel like doing that, like,
this is crazy.
Nah, but it's fine, bro. They're fucking setting themselves up.
I feel like
words are energy.
Right, and I feel like when you affirm those positive things, that something begins to move, and you're gonna get in the right direction. So that's something I would have to disagree with.
Minded, right?
The reason I said, yo, this is crazy, is because he's really spitting bars like he didn't wake up 30 minutes before we got here.
He's always thinking that way,
good
bro.
point that you made.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Alright.
What I wanted
debate.
to say about your idea wasn't anything that I just completely disagree with.
You're wrong.
In my viewpoint,
You're a sinner.
Okay.
in my experience, the arguments and the debates that I had with people, because there was a lot of times where I had
Debates.
arguments and debates
Yeah.
with people that was disrespectful. There were times where it was very respectful, and it just came with the maturity level and just acknowledging that you have to respect another person's opinion, because if you want others to respect your opinion, you got to respect theirs. You know what I mean? It's a two-way street.
Yeah, 100%.
So I've learned a lot from arguments about that person in general, and formed a strong relationship with that person, because when you're in a debate and an argument, it shows the truth from both sides. You know what I mean?
So maybe let me change what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think what I don't like is when people listen to respond
Exactly.
instead of listening
To understand, yeah.
But I did know what you meant, because you mentioned the part with peace and being very strong about peacefulness,
Yeah.
and then that idea of when people go at each other just to prove each other wrong, and just to say I'm right and you're wrong, and I won this and you lost and you're nobody, something like that.
Yeah.
That's when it gets disrespectful. And nobody really learns from that.
Yeah.
Because all the other person wants to do that is labeled as losing is to win the next time, and they will go out of their way just to beat that person.
Yeah.
That's not a good mindset to have. That's what brings hate.
Yeah.
Alright. Good podcast.
Joel, we're gonna have you read quote of the day. Angel, you got shout out.
Shout out.
What if I don't want to?
No, you will.
An angel read both.
Alright.
You will.
The topic is... No, I'm just kidding. Alright, what the heck is up, YouTube? The quote of the day. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. Like my brother and me right here, fate brought us together.
What does that mean?
But do so with all your heart. This quote is by Marcus Aurelius.
That's facts.
Shut up.
No, the statement?
Yeah.
Oh, shut up. It's not shut up. If only you believe in God because you think of knowing His presence makes you more righteous, you are believing for the wrong reason. Ethan B. Coda. Sorry.
Fricker, do you actually want to come in and respond to this one?
No, you explain it. What do you guys explain?
I can explain it.
Who is Ethan? Segna.
So actually, just drop a video, play it for you guys, so you have an understanding of what this comment is about.
Believing in God makes me a better person. That's why I believe in it. And I think it's like where we're trying to get at is like with beliefs. We pick beliefs based off how they benefit us and how they feel with our character. So me believing in God, knowing that He's watching me all the time, knowing that, okay, He expects me to make the right decisions. I'm gonna make the right decisions because I believe that He watches everything I do. So that benefits me. That makes me a better person. That's why I believe in that.
It was about Mike talking about he's believe in God, and what he started with saying, I believe in God because believing in Him makes me a better person. And knowing that He's watching me all the time, and knowing that He knows what I'm doing makes me a better person. So that's pretty much what he said. And I do understand where people are coming from with the whole selfishness and all this kind of stuff, but I think people need to look at it from a different perspective, because to an extent we're all selfish, right? Like knowing that believing in God, this fear to an extent that we have, it doesn't have to take over, because love always has to be on top, because that's how do you really worship somebody. But some people have more of fear towards God,
Right.
and they say that everything they do, they're going to be judged for it, rather than having a relationship with God, what we talked about. So if people looked at it from that perspective and just acknowledge that, you know, as humans, we are selfish to an extent, and they come to that conclusion, then they will understand that believing in God for your reasons of becoming a better person could be accepted. Obviously, you have to change that mindset to not staying selfish, but to believe that it makes me a good person, I'm doing good for others. You know, I don't think anything's wrong with that. But it just doesn't have to go too far to the point where you're like, the only reason why I believe in God so I can do good things and I don't have to be in hell and I'm gonna go to heaven. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I think that's selfish.
Dope. I think that's dope to close with. That believing over, you don't get to heaven by works.
Yeah.
You get to heaven
with your heart,
through your intention and your relationship.
Exactly. Amen.
We always finish with the line.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what it is?
Do you think that was good?
Yes.
No.
Think big, grow big.
Think
Ready?
big, grow big.
Guys,
Go ahead.
thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more. Comment down below what you want us to hear about, and comment down below what your thoughts on this episode. I mean, a huge shout out to Joel and Angel coming out here. I thought
Great
this was a
guest,
great
great
episode.
conversation.
As far
Thank
as
you.
someone like
Thank
who
you.
was very uneducated on the topic, I feel I'm on a higher level of information now. So I really am grateful to both of you for that.
Of course.
And with that being said, think
Think
big,
big,
grow big.
big.
Peace.